Hi folks, this is Mark of Mark's Adventure Club, currently working in my Ford E150 camper conversion. I'm on the last, thank goodness, the last cabinet of drawers, the one that sits next to the refrigerator. You can see I've done quite a few videos on this. I basically started from scratch with this build, even though when I bought it, it had I will say a minimalist camper build in it. I had to rip everything pretty much out, including a lot of the siding to do the electrical, which includes the roof, the interior ceiling. To put the solar up, I had to take off about half the ceiling panels, and I had to remove the flooring completely to replace some body mounts. So, starting from scratch, essentially, I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do it so I could go off grid for at least 2-3 days in a row and not have to worry about, do I have enough water, do I have enough power supply, etc. This is a 4-wheel drive conversion done by U-Joint Off-Road, North Carolina. They also have a second shop in Colorado, I believe. So what I'm doing today is I want to go over some of the tools, because I had to buy a lot of tools to do this with. And I'm going to start showing you those now because I've got them all out. I'm going to show you what I've been using and how it's been working. So this is my bottom drawer. You can see it's all 1/2-inch plywood. Most of it is either repurposed wood from the original build, which I've tried to repurpose as much as possible because he used cabinet grade plywood, you know, the sanded birch plywood, 1/2-inch. That stuff's not cheap. I'm looking at buying one more half sheet, actually a quarter sheet, a 2x4 sheet of 3/4 inch sanded birch, $35 or $36, something like that. So that's just for a quarter sheet. I've already bought a full sheet for some of this and also been repurposing as much as I possibly can. So I'm also using inexpensive, unfinished plywood. I'm trying to get this shot like this. There we go, better. Anyway, so pocket screws. That's how I'm attaching. I'm not bothering to glue anything. I don't think it's necessary. Plus, I have had to take these things apart and adjust them after I put them together in order to get them to fit properly inside the cabinets, because nothing is square, plumb, or level in a van unless the van is actually level to begin with. I'm going off of the flooring. I'm measuring up from the floor for the most part and then across, trying to make everything as square as I possibly can get it. The openings and so forth, including the drawers. I am using cabinet grade finish, the birch plywood on the exterior. This is actually a repurposed piece. It was a piece that came out of the original build. I've cut it, sanded it, fit it, and let me pause this just a moment. Okay, back. I pause it and try to restart it with the remote, and what does it do? It shuts it down. Yeah, inexpensive crud that I buy. Yeah, I'm not quite into the GoPro set yet. It's a lot of money. Anyway, this is what a drawer looks like without the face on it, and this is how I build it to fit it. I'm using the heavy-duty slides that side mount. Obviously, they mount on the sides, as you can see. That's the back, left side, right side, and the bottom, of course. Everything connected with the pocket screws, and I'll go over that in a second here. I fit it, I hang the drawer like this, so that I make sure it's all moving properly, closing properly, fitting side to side, up and down, everything. And then I measure for the face and fit the face, because the drawer might not be perfect once I get it hung. And if I put the face on it first, I'm probably just going to end up taking the face off to cut it or readjust it. So do it this way first. These are the auto close, called soft close, actually. drawer slides. They're not cheap. These are, I believe, let's see, this is the top drawer. This is going to be a 20-inch slide. I think that costs close to 20 bucks for one drawer. So they're not cheap. However, they are supposed to hold the drawers closed so I don't have to latch them. I did find though that I have one drawer holds my Coleman stove just perfect. That's all that's in it. It has opened a couple times. So I've used a couple little clips that I had from a previous project to hold those drawers closed. I was trying to keep it as clean as possible, you know, no exterior hardware. That's why if you look at the pull on this, it's just a cutaway. So the drawer, you reach in and pull the drawer this way. See? No handle sticking out that I can catch on as I'm walking by, because I'm a fairly large person and there's not a lot of room inside this van. It's not a tall van, not a big van. So let's get right into the hardware. One of the first things I bought when I realized I was starting to use a hand ratcheting screwdriver to remove the screws that were holding all the siding in. I've got that tongue and groove cedar siding, and I'm like, there's a ton of screws. So I went to the local clearance place and bought me one of these. This is the better one, 3-speed, or variable speed, adjustable, DeWalt. I'm not hyping DeWalt. I do like them. It's what I've got, so it's what I use, and so that I don't have to buy a bunch of different kinds of batteries. This is a 20 volt. It's a 3rd generation 20 volt battery. It's not the variable voltage, but anyway, that was the first thing I bought. What it has in there right now, that's the pocket screwdriver, and so this is the kit I bought. Pocket screw kit. Comes with a drill bit that's adjustable, so you can use different size material. I have it set for 1/2 inch. I don't know if you can see that. It's in there. No, you're not gonna be able to see it. Just trust me. Inside there, it says 1/2 inch. And right underneath it, there's a 3/4 inch, 1.5 inch. Anyway, and then it has this piece. This is like a medium priced kit. This piece comes apart, so you can use one, you can use 2 together, and then it's got the spacer in the middle to allow you to do that. Now this is how I've been using it for the drawers. There's the bottom of the drawer, so you can see that this matches up to that. This goes on the edge like this. You clamp it down, and then you drill in, and that drills these holes that the screws eventually go into. So there you can see. Can you see the screws? Well, I can't see them. I don't know if you can see them or not. They're in there. Anyway. And then of course the driver, which just locks right into the driver, the unit, and then pocket screws. There's a few different kinds. Since all I'm doing is using is plywood, I'm using the, it's going to be backwards, right? Yeah, great. Soft plywood is what it says. 1 inch. 1 inch screw is for 1/2 inch material. And this is the smaller head. There's also one here that has more of a gripper head, and I'm getting low on these in the 1 inch, so I'm using these for the drawers because they're fine. They do not grip as well. And then I have some longer ones when I'm using 3/4 inch, which is all my framing material, which I don't happen to have anything here. Do I have a piece of it? No, I don't. I don't have a piece of framing material out here, but I'm using 1 by 2, which means it's really 3/4 by 1.5. Okay, back after another interruption, a rather important phone call. I was talking about the pocket screws, I believe. I think I was just finishing up with that. You can look it up. You know, I don't do how-to videos. I just do kind of, this is me, this is my thing, this is what I'm doing. I'm not telling you this is a good way to go. I'm telling you, for me, it's working. So you make up your own minds. Watch more videos, read some articles. Another thing I bought, found these on sale actually. I got a pair of them, quick clamps. So they're really handy. I use these with that pocket screw jig to clamp down on it, hold it in place on the material that I'm drilling. So this one I had before. This is a Carpenter's. This is a very good one. Carpenter's clamp, great for gluing. Also helps secure the material. Also, when I'm doing the framing, putting the screws, driving the screws in, you can't pre-drill it. Well, I suppose I could if I had a long enough drill bit, but the angle on it, you can't get the drill in there. So it tends to push, or it tends to grab and pull, actually, the material away from the in the direction you're driving. It tends to pull the material. So in order to hold it in place, to keep it from ending up out of position, this comes in very handy. Came in very handy. Clamp it any way I can to keep it stable while I'm attaching the screws. Another thing I've been using a lot, a hand sander. This is actually a corded one. It is another DeWalt, but it is corded. It's an old one. Works fine. No reason to buy a new one just for that. Another thing I got, circular saw. Small, what is this, a 6.5 or something like that, 6 1/4, also DeWalt. And then the Kreg. This is for cutting square lumber. This is what you use if you got a circular saw and you don't have a table saw. I don't have a shop to work in. I'm out, as you can see, I'm outside right now. I have to go outside, otherwise I'd make a huge mess inside the garage, and that's where our laundry is. That's where our refrigerator, extra pantry items, bar, all kinds of stuff in there. All my fishing tackle is in there. I don't want to get it all dusty, you know. Wow, thank you, son, for coming out right now. Okay, so this, it adjusts. Jeez. Hard to do while I'm trying to talk. So it adjusts back and forth. As you can see, it's got the ruler. God, can you see that? I can't see it. Yeah, okay, so it's got the ruler on it, and it clamps down into position, so you get a square cut. However, one of the things I found was using repurposed wood. I made the mistake of just assuming it was cut square in the first place, and there were some that weren't. In fact, the one I just made, that drawer face I just made that I showed you, was not square. So I had to square it off first. I had to make at least one square straight edge that I could then use to cut the other edge with, using the jig, using this jig. What else have I got here? Of course, regular drill. This is an old one. This is actually a first generation. God, I keep stepping too close. There we go. Okay. Every time I step in, I cut the top of my head off. Not that there's much to look at up there. This is so old, it's got the brushes in it. It's not even a brushless motor. It's not variable speed. Well, actually it is with the trigger. Found out how old this one was when I tried to get a handle for it. One of those handles like this. Nobody makes a handle that fits on this one. There's no place to fit it. The newer version, I believe it fits right here. I think it fits right here. There's a little place for it, but this one doesn't have that. And of course you need that to use with the pockets, to do the pocket screws to drill the holes. I also use it a lot of drilling. Then a good quality, it's the one thing I have that's not a DeWalt, it's a Bosch. Sorry about the backwards, I'm gonna have to look into that. Maybe I can flip this while I'm editing it. Should be able to do that. This is a decent scroller saw. It is corded, it's no big deal. I bought this one before I got into all those DeWalt cordless stuff. It works, does the job. Of course, that saw is what I used to make this cut with. And originally, when I was doing this, I was measuring, of course, measuring into the center here, across, and then down whatever this is. It's like 1.25 inches or so. And then using something like this to draw the actual circle, and then use that scroller saw to cut it out. Then the sander, get in there, and then finish it with a hand sander and some fine sandpaper. Let's see. Of course, I got my dust mask. I'm wearing, these aren't really safety glasses, but they are polycarbonate reading glasses. Hearing protection, highly recommended. I've had tinnitus in my ears for a long time. I call it rock and roll ear. You know, I used to put the headphones on and crank it all the way up until it distorted, then just turn it down until the distortion goes away, and I would do that for hours at a time. Plus, you know, all kinds of using tools and things without any kind of hearing protection. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. Save your hearing, save your eyes.